Hey guys, it's Teresa Sheahy from FlyFierceFab, and in today's video, I'm bringing you my top makeup mistakes. I looked back at some of my old makeup tutorials. I'm not even gonna lie, I deleted a few because they were just a bit too struggly, but we left some there. This way, you know, you can see the growth and the progression of things. And I also looked at some old pictures of my work, and I realized that I've really come a long way. And that's not to say that I don't still have room for improvement or some things to learn, because I definitely do. You always want to keep learning and stay teachable. That is how you grow, and that's with anything, not just makeup. But anyways, so I was looking back on my old work and I was like, wow, came a long way for sure, because it was looking a little rough for a while there. And I realized that there were some makeup mistakes that I had just kept repeating for a long time, and then at one point I just learned how to fix them, so things are better now. So I thought it'd be cool to make a video for you guys, just sharing what some of my makeup struggles were with visuals. And I combined it with a tutorial on this makeup look. As a talk through tutorial, it's been a while since I've done one of those, but I wanted to be more engaged and interactive with you guys. So that's enough chit chat. Let's just hop on into the video. So I come to you barefaced and slightly broken out because my special friend will be visiting next week. So getting started, I'm just gonna prime my face real quick. And one of my biggest makeup mistakes I can definitely say was like not totally fleeking my brows. So by that I mean I feel like my brows had like two really tragic looks. So one was like they were just too like big and thick, and I love a nice like full thick brow, but here's what the problem was. It would be like when I'd be in between going to get my eyebrows done and I'd be trying to grow them out, and then when I was filling in my brows at home, I was just gradually making them thicker and thicker, and they just got to one point where like I kind of looked like Bert from Sesame Street in my opinion. And I feel like you can specifically see that in my tutorial. I think it was like from simple to snatch, like my everyday go-to makeup look. And mind you, I just made that like this past summer. I'm like, girl, what was you doing? Them brows is thick. This is the MAC Natural Radiance Prep and Prime in Radiant Yellow, and the other one that I used was the Becca Professional, and I just used that in my T-zone because I'm oily. The other issue with my brows is that like I would get frustrated when I'd like try to fill them in and do my brows, so I would just kind of like rush through that. This way I could get to the rest of my makeup. It showed. Because like when I look at some of my other videos, like when I first started, you can see like my brow hairs weren't all really combed in the same direction. They weren't filled in fully, so you could see sort of like lighter or almost slightly like bald patches in my brows. Like as you guys can see, these are my natural brows. I tinted them maybe 5 or 6 weeks ago now. Like they just needed to fill in. I have like some bald patches in there. I'm not ashamed. And I've started doing my brows at home now because like I've had issues with the threading place I went to. Homegirl just took off my whole tail. So while the shapes that I've had over the years with my brows were not always entirely my fault, what I can control is how I fill them in. So what I've learned to do is just like take my time when it comes to filling in my brows. I brush them up first with like a brow brush or whatever spoolie I have on hand, and then I usually now just stick to filling it in with a pencil. If I feel like I need it, I'll go in with like a gel product like Dip Brow or the NYX brow gel, which I personally prefer because it's cheaper and it's waterproof, which Dip Brow is not. It's been a while since I've done a talk through video, y'all, because like it's hard for me to like talk and do all this at the same time, but we gonna work it out. Anywho, so what I've learned to do is to just first outline my brow. I start underneath, and then I go on top, just trace the overall like shape of my brow. And then now I'm going to start filling in my brow from the tail and working my way inwards. And I start at the tail because I want the tail of my brow to be darker. It should be lighter here in the front, but darker at the tail. And I'm just going to take my time and fill it in slowly. What I've learned about myself is that I'm heavy-handed with products sometimes, so I prefer to use a pencil first because that's easiest for me to control. I find it to be a little bit more foolproof, and then if I want to go in with anything else, it'll only be after I've used like a brow pencil. So like let's say I wanted to use a gel today, I would do that after the pencil. I am not one who can just go in with the gel first, because like I said, I'm heavy-handed. I wind up using too much, and then it just looks too big and too thick, or too dark. So to get my brow hairs all laying in the same direction and like set them that way, I'm going to use this sample of the Benefit Give Me Brow that they gave me at Gem Beauty. So like if I personally purchased this, I wouldn't have bought this color. But because it was a free sample, y'all, I have been putting it to work. You could also use just like a regular like black mascara to do this as well. You could use a clear brow mascara. Okay, so the last but still very important step in my brow routine is using a good concealer to carve around my brows and clean everything up. So the concealer that I'm going to use is this one by Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's in the shade 5.0. I call this like a fresh brow wax concealer because it's really thick, it's full coverage, and it's creamy. Okay, so after carving out my brows, I like to take a fluffy synthetic brush and just blend out the concealer. Okay, so now I've based my lids with concealer and I've applied some tape, and I'm going to start my eyeshadow. Now, when it comes to eyeshadow, one of my biggest makeup mistakes was that we're just gonna call it what it is. I didn't blend my eyeshadow out very well. And that's definitely something I see a lot of when I look back at my old looks. Like my blend and my crease is just very blocky. Like I didn't blend it out very well. So some tips that I've picked up since then are, one, when I'm blending, I no longer mainly do, is that a shed hair right there? That's not cute, Morphe. By the way, I'm applying Chickadee eyeshadow in my crease, and I'm using a Morphe M505 brush. Okay, so one thing that's definitely changed with the way I do my makeup now, in terms of eyeshadow, is that I no longer stick mainly to the windshield wiper motions when I'm blending out in my crease. I use a lot more of circular motions. And when I first started doing makeup, like I would hear people talk about doing circular motions a lot, and I kind of talked about this a little bit way back when I did my eyeshadow 101 video. And like I was saying, I typically just did like windshield wiper motions. I didn't do the circles a lot, mainly because when I did that, it would make my wrist hurt. So I was like, no, we just gonna stick to the windshield wiper. But once I got into like learning how to like blend it out in the small little circles and like just keeping the motion going, I definitely see a huge difference in the way that I have been blending out my makeup. Like it just looks a lot better. That's why the creases and my looks look a lot better blended, is because I'm doing the circular motions. Okay, so the next shade I'm going to use in my crease is from this Heart Love blusher palette. I copped this at Burlington Coat Factory a long time ago, y'all. And I'm going to use this shade right here. And I'm going to apply it using my Morphe M441 brush. Another makeup mistake I used to make back in the day, I would use literally the same 2 eyeshadow brushes in all of my looks. Now, that's not necessarily a problem. Like, you can definitely have your go-to brushes that you use in a lot of your looks. Like, now I probably use like the same 5 or 4 brushes like literally all the time when I'm doing my makeup. That's great. You don't have to spend a ton of money to get a bunch of different brushes to do your makeup. That's not what I'm saying. You just want to make sure that you have the right brushes for the right tasks. So basically, you definitely want to make sure that you have some like good detail brushes, but you also need some like fluffy crease brushes to do stuff like this. While I'm on this eye, we can discuss another makeup mistake I would make. Basically, when I would blend out my eyeshadows in my crease like I'm doing right now, I would always blend my crease colors directly in my crease. So what I mean by that is like my real crease is like right here, this fold in my eye when my eye is open. Blending my crease colors above my actual crease, because when I go back in later to carve out my lid and apply my shadow and my glitter, because you know I love me some glitter, I'm going to carve above my actual lid space. So back in the day when I would do my makeup, I would like blend all my crease and transition colors and all that stuff in my actual crease, carve out my lid, and then when I open my eyes it'd be like, where'd all my crease work go? Next, I'm going to go in with another blush. This one is Film Noir from MAC. I'm going to blend it out using a Zoeva 228 brush. This is going to be the shade that goes closest to my actual crease because I want to create depth. I'm just going back in and touching up my crease shades. I just realized that I completely forgot to do my brow and inner eye highlight first, which is what I typically do like to do, so I will do that as well. I'm going to use the Morphe 3502 palette, which is one of my new favorites, and I'm going to take this shade right here, which is called Pure. I've seen a few debates like online, like which one's better, the 350 or the 3502. I personally prefer the 3502 because I feel like it has so many more like warm tones and a lot of great transition shade options and matte crease colors, especially for women of color. And when I do my brow highlight, like I like to concentrate it literally just under the arch of my brow. I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but another makeup mistake I used to make back in the day is that I did not carve my lid area high enough for the looks that I wanted to do. So basically I would always carve it like right into my true crease, which is right here. And I have learned that for the looks that I want to do, you have to carve it a little bit higher than your actual crease. This gives me like a little bit more lid space to play with these shadows that I'm going to apply. Everything will look nice and clean, and then because I applied my shadows above my actual crease, you won't lose all your hard work when you carve out your lid. And I'm just doing all this with the same liquid concealer that I used as the base for my eyeshadows. But also, so you guys can see sort of a side by side of what I'm talking about. On this eye, I carved slightly above my actual crease, and on this eye, I kept it more in my actual crease. I'm going to use this shade right here. This is Amber. Oh my gosh, so with all these studio lights up in my room right now, it is so hot. It's hot. And it's hysterical because outside it's like literally 0 degrees because we just had a blizzard in my area, so I kind of want to crack a window, kind of don't want to freeze either. So next I'm applying some glitter. I'm using Flirtatious Rose, which I got on superglitters.com, and I'm going to apply it using the NYX Glitter Primer. This is just going to go all over my lid, everywhere that I placed my lid color. My Inglot gel liner in black to do this. And real quick, I'm just going to set the liner with some black eyeshadow. I'm using Corrupt from Makeup Geek because I'm going to put some gel liner in the outer V to deepen it. And I don't want the liner that I already put down to start moving around. Like, it's not going to be a good look. I don't want to come too far this way because then it just looks strange. And I'm going to set that with just a dab of black eyeshadow too. Alright, so another makeup mistake I used to make. My lashes, girl. When I would apply my lashes, they were... we're not about to make like yet another makeup mistake sitting here with some dry chapped lips. Girl, my lashes, when I would apply my lashes, I wasn't applying them low enough down on my eye. So basically, when I would glue them down, and part of my struggle with this is the fact that I have really curly eyelashes, so sometimes it's hard to get them to cooperate with me. This way I can put the lashes down on top. A lot of the times I would just wind up gluing the lash onto my eyelid, like just right on top of where my eyeliner was, and calling it a day. Because then you could see the separation of where the lashes were, what was on my lid between the lashes, and then where my actual lashes were. I got this lash applicator tool at Ulta. So what I do is place my lash inside the tool applicator after I put glue on it, and then I place it on my eye. So it helps me get over my curly lashes. This way I can put the lash down where it belongs, and then I'm able to squeeze the lash down on top of my lashes. Real quick, I'm just wiping away all the fallout on my face. I'm going to base underneath my lash line and apply all the same shadows that I used in my crease right here in my lower lash line. After the pink blush, what I'm going to do is take some black gel eyeliner this time, and I'm just smudging that along my lower lash line, and then I'm going to go on top of this with Film Noir just to make it look sort of smoky. I'm just using a flat smudger brush just to like smudge the liner that I just applied. Real quick, I'm just going to apply some white eyeliner to my waterline, and I'm going to color correct my face using the orange shade from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit. Okay, so another makeup mistake that I would make is wearing foundation that didn't really match. The foundation that I'm going to use today, which I love, is the Fenty Beauty foundation, and I wear it in the shade 420, and I'm going to blend it out with this Real Techniques brush that I got in a kit that I purchased at Target for Christmas. This brush is called their bronzer brush, and it blends this foundation out really well. So basically I would wear foundations that didn't quite match. So sometimes it would be the undertone that was off, like it might have been like a little too red or a little too orange. And then back in the day, I remember wearing the MAC Prolongwear foundation, and that foundation was too gray for me. Back in the day when I went to like the very first Gem Beauty in New York, I was wearing the MAC Prolongwear foundation, and I had met Aaliyah J, and I had taken a picture with her on her camera, and then when we looked at the picture, like flashback everywhere. My face looked so gray and I was so embarrassed, and she was so sweet about it. She's like a really nice person. She's like, oh no, I think it might be something with my camera setting, like let's try it again. Girl, it was embarrassing. Like I was like, no, we gonna figure this out. We gonna find a foundation that matches me perfectly, because I'm not gonna be out here in these streets getting embarrassed like this. For reference, I have warm undertones, however I can also pull off foundations that have neutral undertones as well. I have a very oily skin, and well, you can see my skin tone, so we don't really need to discuss that in depth, now do we? Other foundations that match me decently well, the MAC Studio Fix Fluid in NC50. The Huda Beauty foundation, I had tried that. Chocolate Mousse was a little too light. Like some people said that they felt like it matched me just fine. I want to try the next darker shade, which I think is Mocha, when it comes back in stock. I wound up returning Chocolate Mousse because no, I couldn't rock with it. And my summer foundation is the Estee Lauder Double Wear foundation in the shade Amber Honey. Real quick, I'm going to set my highlighted areas. I'm going to mix together the Sacha Buttercup Loose Setting Powder with the Laura Mercier Translucent Powder in Medium Deep Translucent. So I'm using the body size of the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge, and I'm literally just setting everywhere that I just highlighted. I'm using the Black Radiance True Complexion Contour Palette in medium to dark. Clearly I'm using the contour shade, and I'm just going to use this Morphe M527 brush, and I'm just going to use this for warmth because this is more of a warmer shade. It's not like a cool true contour shade, so this will just like help define my features a bit more and then just like add some warmth to my face overall. So you guys let me know if you want me to do more talk through videos in 2018, or if you just prefer me to stick to voiceovers. I won't be offended. Just gonna clean up the contour line right quick with some of the setting powder. So real quick, I'm just going to dust away the excess setting powder with this large fluffy powder brush. The powder I'm going to use today is the MAC Studio Fix powder in the shade NC55, and this is the powder that I typically will use when I apply the Fenty foundation. My system usually is, if I go in with a foundation that's like slightly redder or more neutral, I apply a more yellow face powder on top. But if my foundation's more yellow, I'll apply a face powder that is slightly more red. I did notice in one of my old videos, it was like a tutorial that I did with a ColourPop eyeshadow. I think it was like Telepathy back in the day. It looked like I, one, hadn't completely dusted away all the setting powder, and then two, it looked like the undertone of the face powder I used after, if I used face powder then, it looked like it was slightly off. Something with the skin just wasn't right. It was looking a little gray in areas. This is my pressed blot powder from MAC right here. I use it in the shade Deep Dark, just in my T-zone to help keep my oils under control. My Fix Plus, the little bit I have left. I think they're going to be making the scented versions permanent now. So if that's the case, I definitely need to cop the coconut one, because that's my favorite scent out of like the three they usually bring out at MAC. Next I'm going to highlight. Where's my highlighting brush? I always spray my brush first. I'm going to use one of my favorite highlighters. This is from the Ofra Nikki Tutorials collab, and it is in the shade Everglow. And I'm using this one because the tone of my eye look is very warm, so I want to keep that going with the highlighter that I use. Like I want it to be warm toned as well. So on top of this, I always love to use the Fenty Beauty, can I get it open? Highlighter in Trophy Wife, especially because the glitter I used on my eyes has like a slight duochrome thing going on. Trophy Wife kind of just plays off that a little bit as well, but Everglow and Trophy Wife together look amazing, especially like if really golden light hits you. I'm going to apply some blush next. I'm going to use Sienna from La Femme. So in the comments of this video, I want you guys to let me know what some of your makeup mistakes have been, even if it's stuff that like you still struggle with. Nobody is perfect, and the more you practice, like the better you'll get at it. Okay, so that brings me to one of my last makeup mistakes for this video anyway. Sometimes my lip combos were a little off. I noticed that in a couple of pictures of my old looks, and also in like my Estee Lauder double wear tutorial video, I want to say. So sometimes I would do a lip liner and then put on a gloss that wasn't quite like opaque enough to make it work. I don't know, to me it just like looks strange. It's not something I would do now. Anywho, so I lined my lips with Chestnut from MAC. Now I'm going in with more Creamer Please. I'm going to go on top of it with this gold gloss. This is from the Mariah Carey MAC collection like last year, and I'm just going to place this on top. It's like a nice golden shimmery gloss, because I love a real glossy lip. Like, you might see me in a matte lip from time to time, but I'm definitely more of a gloss girl. Okay, so that's it for the tutorial part of this video. I'm just going to spray my face with some Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray, change this outfit, do my hair, and come right back. And I might fix this lash too, because I low-key feel like it's drooping. Okay guys, that is how I did this look, and I hope you guys were able to learn from some of the makeup mistakes that I had been making over the years. In the comments below, let me know about some of the makeup struggles you've had over the years, because I know I am not the only one who has been out here struggling. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment down below. You can catch me on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. I am FlyFierceFab on all those platforms. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, make sure that you do. And of course, I have a couple other videos you should check out while you're here, sis. Thanks for watching, keep shining, and I'll see you next time.